It was the final hole. My mate Bailey had a putt to win us the tournament, but he missed, sending us to the playoffs. We were in Kempsey that day for a pennants tournament, a 6-player versus 6-player competition where each person plays against an evenly matched competitor from the other team, with the winner of each match earning a point for their team. On the final hole that day, it had been 2.5 apiece, as draws count as half a point. With a draw in his match, we were sent into a playoff. My teammate Sean had hurt his shoulder early in the day, attempting a tough chip shot from the rough. He had suffered a heavy defeat in his match to a competitor who only knew how to win and let it get to her head. Rebecca had shown poor sportsmanship throughout the day, as golf is a sport of respect, and typically a competitor will encourage their competitor and pay respect to good shots and long drives. She, however, stayed silent the whole day and never paid this respect to Jessie, as she only wanted to win and nothing more, which is a bad show of sportsmanship in what is a game that values it highly. Unfortunately for Jessie, as our best player, he was forced to play in the playoffs against the same girl he had lost to earlier. She was already in the mindset of having won the competition, knowing how she had already beaten Jessie by so much and knowing that he had an injury in his shoulder. They teed up on the first hole, her hitting a perfect drive, straight down the middle, and unfortunately Jessie went left, ending up into the trees. Her grin was aggravating and not in the spirit of the game, feeling the team to support Jessie in his quest to bring her down from the podium. Jessie's second shot was better, with ending up just short of the green. Her shot, however, was even better, missing the green to the left and ending up just off. Jessie's third shot then found a good bit of luck as he sculled it straight into the flagstick, allowing it a fortunate bounce and staying on the green, keeping him in the game. More luck followed as she duffed her chip onto the green, not making it up with her ball rolling down the slope back to where she stood. The frustration was evident in her face at this point, as she expected nothing but perfection. This was the break that Jessie needed. However, he unfortunately 3-putts, as she then puts her second attempt onto the green before 2-putting herself to make it a tie for her hole. Disgusted with herself for not beating Jessie that hole, she didn't even acknowledge him as she stormed away to the second hole, and the playoff continued. The second playoff was shaping up to be an exciting one, with the par 4 greeting the two competitors as they stood on the tee box ready to hit off. Rebecca gets her hit off first, hitting a right hook into the tree line. Finally, a break for Jessie and his chance to get ahead. She aggressively slammed her club into the ground, a show of her frustrations and a poor show of sportsmanship on her part. Jessie capitalises, however, hitting a perfect drive dead centre down the fairway, putting himself less than 70 metres out from the green. He hits again, nearly holing out for eagle as he put his second shot less than 20 centimetres from the hole. The excitement in the group was building, as we knew unless she hit a perfect shot out from the trees, she had lost the competition. She hit her second, putting herself just short of the green, however, giving herself a chance to answer. Jessie taps in his putt, securing himself the bogey. The tension in the group was building as we held our breath to see if she could hole out to send them to a third playoff hole. She missed, and as we all celebrated our win, after missing, she begrudgingly shook Jessie's hand before storming off, disgusted with herself at a loss to someone she considered a not worthy opponent. That win took us to a second round at McLean, which we also won before heading to Newcastle for the state championships, which unfortunately we lost. This day ultimately showed her how being cocky and up yourself doesn't necessarily pay, and how integral sportsmanship is in the game of golf. While Jessie played well, I like to think that karma played a role in us winning that day, as if it was scripted to teach her a lesson about being a fair and gracious opponent. We played them again the next year, however, unfortunately, we lost this time. She was a more gracious competitor that time around, however, learning from that experience as well as losses from other competitors, going to show that it taught her a lesson and shaped her to be a better person and a better competitor. This story is a tale of why it is important to be respectful and courteous of your competitors and always show good sportsmanship. This shows the ethics of teaching, showing how we should demonstrate respect, dignity, and integrity. This is shown by how Rebecca treats her opponent and how she suffers the consequences at the end. She learns a lesson from not being a fair competitor and how important it is to follow these ethics. These ethics play an important role in teaching. As being a teacher, we must always make sure we effectively follow these ethics in our day-to-day roles to ensure that we pass this on to our students, as we are their biggest role models in the classroom and we create a supportive learning environment for them to come to every day. Teaching standards also come into play in this story, as Jessie engages professionally with Rebecca, even though she doesn't give him the same respect back. This is important to us as teachers, as when we engage with parents, carers, and students, we must always treat them professionally, even though they may not treat us professionally back. This is important because how we conduct ourselves as teachers demonstrates to parents, tutors and carers how they themselves should conduct themselves. As students see us as role models, parents see us as their child's primary caregiver while they're at work or at home, and carers are the same as parents, also seeing us as these primary role models during the day.